Have you ever tried meditation? If you're like most people, you've probably tried it after reading about its benefits and then going to a class or using a meditation app. But if you're like most people, you probably found yourself getting distracted and didn't really feel the promised benefits right away. For Emily and her husband Robbie, they realized that guided breath work was the most effective way for them to quickly transform their energy levels and focus their minds. I'm Betty, the founder of Upright, and you are listening to the Upright podcast, where we interview thought leaders and innovators like Emily Bent, who are making a positive impact in the world. Upright's vision is a world where health and sustainability are accessible to everyone. To get there, we're launching a high-protein instant oat milk that's as nutritious as dairy, but without the cow, as well as this podcast series where we can highlight the amazing things that other founders and brands are doing to make the world more inclusive, healthier, and more sustainable. In this conversation, I talked to Emily, the co-founder of Othership, which is a platform that includes a physical space and a mobile app to effect positive change and address the problem of loneliness and the detrimental effects it has on our individual and collective health. They combine a transformational breathwork app and physical spaces built around sauna and ice bath classes. We talked about how Emily and her co-founder and husband, Robbie, got started with breathwork through online videos and got more and more into other wellness practices like taking ice baths, until they found themselves hosting neighbors in their DIY backyard ice bath in Toronto, and then quickly having to switch to Zoom when the pandemic hit to lead their breathwork classes. She shared the health benefits of breathwork, saunas, and ice baths, and described what the experience is like for someone to use their app or to go to their physical Othership space. She also shared some great advice on the importance of asking for advice and learning from others. So with that, let's jump into our conversation. Hi, Emily. Thanks so much for joining me here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
No, I'm super excited to get the chance to talk to you. So, to start off, I would love to learn more about your personal journey with breathwork. And I'm curious, when did you start doing breathwork and why?
Yeah, so it's a great question. We first started doing breathwork. Actually, I think our very first exposure was with Wim Hof. I don't know if you've heard of Wim Hof and the Wim Hof method before.
Totally.
Yeah, so my husband actually struggled with addiction for many years, and he came back from a psychedelic experience actually that was extremely transformative for him. And we were looking for more health practices that could help to support him in his sobriety journey. And we came across the Wim Hof method, breath work, as well as hot and cold. And that was our initial exposure to the whole industry. And I have a background in health and wellness, so I think naturally health practices were of interest to me particularly. So yeah, we found one of Wim Hof's breathwork videos on YouTube, and more of an upregulated style. And Robbie and I would do the same video every single day. So that's how we got started.
So cool. So you mentioned you were watching these videos, and I've done a lot of guided meditations in the past myself, and often there's like a guided breathing part of it as well. So I'm curious for myself and for other listeners who aren't sure where, meditation starts and breath work begins. Well, can you talk about like the differences between the two, between meditation and breath work?
Yeah, absolutely. Both are, mindfulness practices, of course. And I think the main difference that I usually touch upon is that meditation is more of a passive practice. You are sitting usually in observation and not actively trying to do anything, not trying to actively change your thoughts, but more observing what is coming into your field of view. And so with breathwork, you are actively changing the speed and pace and depth of your breath. And this is eliciting a physical effect in the body.
Got it. Thank you. That was super helpful. Okay, so no, so I heard that, about now you and your husband learning about breath work, using it to, promote health and wellness and support, especially his journey, I guess, through sobriety. I'm curious in what was the moment that led you? I don't know if it was one moment or maybe many moments, but what inspired you to create Othership?
Yeah, many moments, I think you're right. I mean, what I was just talking about before, that we'd found the Wim Hof method, and actually one of our first dates was at this huge Wim Hof seminar in Toronto. He came and he brought these massive kiddie pools and filled them with ice, and 20 people got in at once. It was really fun. And so that was one of our first exposures to doing ice baths. And we also found sauna separately through just looking for places that we could go hang out while being sober. I think it's kind of natural at night to want to go to a bar or a restaurant, and you're usually exposed to alcohol in those situations. And so we were, going to different bathhouses and really enjoying the hot and cold as a way to connect with each other, connect with friends without alcohol. So that's how we were introduced to the sauna. And then we created an ice bath in our backyard, actually. When we moved back to Toronto, Ravi was really looking for a community of healthy friends as well. And we put the ice bath in our backyard, and people just started coming. I think, I would be making my morning coffee and I would look out back and there would be people using the ice bath in our backyard. So we started combining that with more meditative techniques with the sound bowl, and learning that the ice bath could be more than this kind of physical only experience where you get in, you have this intense experience, kind of like you see with athletes. No one looks like they're enjoying the ice bath experience. They're just getting in and suffering through it and getting out to get the benefits. But that you could actually combine all of these techniques and make it more of this extremely powerful meditative practice as well. And so, it being Canada, we had the ice bath out in our backyard for the summer. And then fall came around and we were wondering what we were going to do with it. And we actually ended up converting our garage into this teeny makeshift bathhouse. And we got an infrared sauna as well. And Ravi's aunt's an amazing interior designer, so she designed the facility. And Ravi's sister as well is in fitness, so she showed us how to just put up a little mind body account and create a little business. So we created the center for our community, and it was the initial Othership testing site.
That is incredible. Oh my gosh. And so, what was next then? So you've got
Mhm.
this ice bath in your garage and you've set up a mind body account so people can book it online. And curious just to give a timeline to this, when was all this?
Yeah, so hilariously enough, this is like our biggest month was the month before the pandemic, of course.
Oh my gosh.
So we had set everything up, things were building, it was starting to go well. I think we started like 3 months before everything got shut down. And so that led us into the breath work, because everything in Toronto closed. We had really intense lockdowns here, as you might have heard. And so we were looking for a way to continue these practices and support our community who is really going through such a tough time. I mean, we all were at the beginning. And ice bath and sauna is not the easiest thing to do online.
Hmm.
So we were actually offering breath work at the space as one of the modalities that we were using with hot and cold. And so we started hosting a Sunday Zoom doing breath work. Yeah, every Sunday afternoon. And we started, 20 people came, and then 50, and then 100, and then 200. And our community was asking for the recordings. And so we created this little Kajabi website and hosted all the recordings, started creating different styles, different lengths, different speeds, and it just grew and grew from there. So for us, the pandemic was really challenging for the physical part of our business, but it was really a blessing for the digital side.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm so glad to hear that you were able to take such a, negative event, right, with COVID, but you were able to use that to catalyze the digital part of your of Othership now, the app component. And so, for anybody who's not who hasn't tried it out before, can you describe the experience somebody would have if they were to log into the Othership app?
Yeah, absolutely. So we took some learnings from our original platform, and I think on the original website, people were hoping that we could turn it into an app. There's definitely a barrier to going online and searching for the website and logging in. So the ability to have it right in the mobile app was important to our community. So we've been starting to build that, and we launched it about 5 months ago. And so some of the interesting features that we wanted and we took from the feedback that we've been getting are these daily sessions. So right when you open the app, there's different categories. We have up, down, all around, and then we have body and brain as well. And so the up category are really these energizing sessions, ways to boost your mood, boost your energy, boost your focus and attention, and really replace a coffee in the morning or a coffee after lunch, and get that energy that a lot of people are looking for. And that's something that isn't necessarily associated with breath work. I think I hear a lot, oh, I thought it was just for relaxation or for grounding. So that's a really interesting feature of the app. And then we have the down category, which are slow, relaxing breath styles, really taking long exhales, which can be very calming and grounding. And we have all different lengths of those as well. We have ones for falling asleep, ones for winding down after work. And those are some of my personal favorites as well. And then we have our all around sessions, which are more like if you've heard of holotropic breathing, longer sessions that are geared around getting you to that place where you can really shut down the mind and have these experiences of feeling oneness and more gratitude, having some beautiful life insights. And we pair those with guided meditations as well to direct the sessions in different ways or to think about different things in your life. So those are the three main. And so the up and down, right when you open the app, we have our daily practices that we try to keep around 10 minutes so that they're accessible for everyone. And then we have the weekly practice, which is the all around, the longer session. And so we recommend doing those less frequently, but about once every week or two.
Amazing. No, it sounds like there's so much within the app. But I know that you also have recently opened up a physical location that's moved from beyond just your garage now, but to, I saw some Google images of it. It looks like the most beautiful physical location on Adelaide Street in Toronto. And I'd love to hear, about the experience that somebody walking to that location would also have. Like what would they be doing there?
Yeah, we are very excited that we were recently able to open up, our first location that's outside of our garage, which is really exciting, and it does look absolutely beautiful. It's been an amazing journey, and we really wanted to create an experience for people where you are just getting completely outside of your day-to-day. You enter Othership and you feel like you're really escaping your day-to-day life and you're going on an adventure. So when you first come in, everything's very grounding, lots of wood, soft colors, and right away you are winding through this hallway to get to the change rooms. And one thing that we had taken away from so many bathhouse and sauna experiences that we had done is in Europe, men and women actually have a shared change room, which is a really nice part of the experience when you're going together. If you're with a partner or friend of the opposite sex, that you can have your separate changing stalls, but that you don't actually have to separate. And so that's the first experience, is that everyone has this shared locker area. And then you continue winding around in your journey and you'll come into a tea room that has this beautiful stadium seating, so everyone can have their own areas, but you're also in this communal area where you can socialize and connect. There's an area to get tea, there's a fireplace, and it's very cozy and relaxing. And then we have our beautiful 50-person sauna. It's amazing to see. It turned out so beautifully. And within the sauna, we have different experiences. So we have free flow classes where you can go and use the space however you like. You can go back between the ice bath area. We have 4 ice baths if you keep going around the hall. And so you can go back and forth however you like, use the space, whatever feels right to you. And then we also have guided classes. And so these are something definitely new to North America, where there's a facilitator, a guide with you the whole way, and they will curate different class styles. So bring you into the sauna, you might do sharing together. They'll do essential oils over the stove, towel waving to move the heat around and down on our guests. They might give different prompts to do vocal toning or releases or stretching, or so many different things can be done in the sauna. It's a really amazing experience. And so similar to the app, we will have classes that are up, that are energizing classes, and classes that are down, that are more relaxing, maybe for the evening, some stretching, some grounding breathwork techniques in the sauna. And then we'll have all around, same, like more for emotional release or social connection. And then we have our 4 beautiful ice baths as well. And so they will be incorporated into the class, and there will be a guide there to support you. You know, a lot of people are extremely nervous, especially when you're trying the ice bath for the first time. It can be a very confronting experience. And so there will be a guide there with you to coach you through the whole experience, to let you know how much time is left. We usually encourage 2 minutes for an ice bath to get all of the benefits. So it's nice to have that support.
Oh my gosh, there's so much going on in there.
It's
Amazing
a
how much
lot. There's a lot
you
going on.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think you did such a great job of describing the benefits of breath work earlier. And so for the physical location now, can you talk about the benefits of going through the sauna and the ice baths and cycling between hot and cold? I mean, especially when you mentioned that people get nervous going into the ice bath. Like, honestly, I would 100% put myself in that camp as well. The thought of submerging my body into like freezing cold water. Like, somebody has to tell me why it's good for me, I think, to convince me to do it. So yeah, I would love to hear more about the benefits of why, cycling between hot and cold are so powerful for your body.
I completely understand that. I think hearing, that it's healthy for you can really enhance the experience. And I think the number one thing that is true for the ice bath, and that is kind of the most commonly thought of benefits, is reduced inflammation. So that the cold is extremely powerful at reducing inflammation throughout our entire body. We also get this boost in a neurotransmitter called norepinephrine, which creates this feeling of just energy and power. And it's really beautiful to watch people go through the experience, because I find that you can see it happening when I coach people through the ice bath. Maybe they come in, they're extremely nervous, might be introverted, and then they have this experience, and then they come out and they just feel super alive. They're so chatty. They want to tell you all about it. It's really one of my favorite parts of watching people go through the experience. And so that's one of the amazing benefits as well, this feel good feeling. And I think the other part that I really, really resonate with is that because we've created this more meditative experience within the ice, you can really reach these places of meditation that you can't get to in your day-to-day life. So I've had people tell me that they've been trying to meditate for years, and they've finally felt this sense of stillness and peace. And it's because when you go through this really intense place and you learn to relax into it, you just reach this place of extreme stillness and focus. And it can be really, really nice to have those experiences. There's also the longevity effects of both hot and cold. They've done research on cold water swimmers, and they have a higher life expectancy. And for the sauna as well, I mean, besides just relaxation, there's many health benefits. Specifically, the risk of cardiovascular diseases goes down. It can really be beneficial for high blood pressure, and also neurodegenerative diseases. They're starting to do more research on both hot and cold, how it can be extremely beneficial for these conditions.
Oh my gosh, well, hearing all of that, I mean, it gives people no reason to not go in there. I'm definitely makes me, well, I'm still probably nervous about going into an ice bath, but that, hearing you talk about all the benefits, you're like, why wouldn't you want to do this?
You'll do great. It gets so much easier. I think the first time can be more overwhelming. There's a lot of nerves involved, but then after that, you really do adapt to it, and it becomes a lot easier to make it part of your routine.
I'm really excited. Okay, well, I'm so curious then, how did you decide on the name Othership for your company, for the brand?
We are actually, our original name was Inward. We had Inward was the garage space, and Inward Breathwork was our breathwork app. And we felt that we were limiting our brand by just focusing on this experience of going inward, which all of these practices do. However, we also wanted to have this social element of our physical space, this lifestyle element that wasn't really captured in the word inward. So we worked with some of our close friends that have an incredible branding agency in Toronto, and they presented a few different options for a new name. And originally, right away, we all gravitated towards Othership. We have 5 partners, and we all thought it was super cool, just a really interesting combination of words. And then that night, we all went home and totally panicked. It was absolutely hilarious that all of us came back and were like, oh my gosh, it's too crazy. I think it's very grand, and the vision felt like a lot to step into, and it took us a while to come back around and realize that our initial instinct was right. And Othership just encapsulates this view that we're all others, and we're looking at this experience to create this sense of oneness. And the Othership is the ship you're taking on your journey. And so whether that journey is towards creating more friendship or better relationships, or more leadership, there's all of these practices can have huge benefits in whatever you're working on.
I think the name is absolutely perfect. I mean, the first time I heard it, it conveys this, it's amazing how words can have such a powerful impact. But yeah, as when I first heard it, it created this sense of like awe almost. And even though I didn't really know too much about it, you got elements of what you just talked about just from the name itself. So I think it was perfect. And I'm wondering then, on that note, you kind of talked a little bit about the vision for the brand. And I'm curious, what's next in the vision? What's next for Othership?
Yeah. Next, we are finding more locations. I think that's the exciting thing next. I mean, for this year, completely dialing the experience so that we know every time one of our community members comes to Othership, they are having an amazing time, and all of our sessions are exactly the way we want, and really working on just perfecting this experience and then sourcing new locations. So it's really exciting time.
Very exciting. I'm curious, what do you have? Can you talk about where you're scouting right now? What is it also going to be in Toronto? Are you looking to somewhere else in Ontario, or somewhere else in Canada, or in the US, or somewhere else in the world?
Yeah, we're looking for more locations in Toronto, as well as expanding to the US.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's so impressive to see, how far you've come from starting out with like a pool in your backyard to, seeing pictures of this incredible, like it looks like a giant wooden spaceship almost, the physical location, and the app, and just like the range of experiences you offer. And so I'm curious, what is the best piece of advice that you've received as a founder that you would give to other founders who are earlier on in their journeys?
Hmm. I think that Robbie has really showed, he's the CEO of Othership, also my husband, and the thing that he does best and that I've learned so much from is that he will just source an expert in whatever topic that you want to learn about. Okay, we want to expand to the US. Let's talk to 3 people that have done that successfully. Or yeah, let's talk to 3 people that have opened a second and third location and ask them about what experiences they had with this, what regrets they had with that. Is there anything that we can learn from? Say we want to start working with affiliates in the app, we'll talk to people that have done that really successfully. And so I think instead of reinventing the wheel each time, there's always someone out there that has done it and done it extremely successfully. And people are so willing to talk to you if you reach out. I think, you think that people don't have time or won't want to talk to another founder, but that's definitely not the case. Everyone's extremely happy to share their own experiences and share wisdom with you. And it can be just so extremely helpful. And on the flip side of that, I would say that there's a lot of advice that gets offered to you as a founder. And so to really use your own filter and decide, is that advice coming from an expert?
Really, really good advice. And yeah, absolutely. As the founder, you're always going to be the most, deep in the problem and understand your situation better than others. So
Absolutely.
I always think of advice as things to consider, but it's up to you whether or not you want to take it. So
it's extremely true. I think that, you're so steeped in this specific topic, and so you can just use your own lens. And I mean, that can be a strength and a weakness. Maybe you're have blinders on to certain things, but I think that because you're so in it, that you are already considering all of these things that someone might not be considering yet.
100%. Amazing. Well, Emily, for our listeners who are interested, where can they go to find Othership to learn more about your company and all the transformative experiences that you offer?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can find us on social media. We have 2 different accounts. We have our physical space, which is othership.to right now, and we have our app, which is othership.app. And then our website is othership.us. So those are the main places to follow us and see what we're up to. And yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun to chat about all of these things.
Amazing. No, I'm so grateful to have you here. And again, I'm so impressed by what you and Robbie and the rest of your team have built. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be in Toronto at the end of the month. And so I'm super excited to do a class at your physical location and hearing about all the benefits of the ice bath, especially. I'm excited to get over my fear of that and hop in. So anyways, thank you again. I'm super excited as a fellow Canadian and a former Torontonian to watch your continued success.
Thank you so much. And we can't wait to host you in Toronto. It will be a ton of fun.
Excited.
Thanks for listening. If you want to try out the Othership app for yourself, go download the app by searching for Othership Breathing App in the Apple App Store or Google Play. You can also find the link to download the Othership app by going to Upright's blog, where you can read the full transcript to this interview and have all of Othership's other links handy in one spot. Just go to uprightoats.com/blog, where you can also find our other episodes and see some great recipes using our instant oat milk, which packs 8 grams of oat protein per serving. Feel free to also follow us on Instagram at Upright Oats to learn more about our brand, get other great plant-based recipes, and be alerted when new episodes of our podcast drop. And if you like this interview, you can also check us out on Spotify by searching for the Upright Podcast. Thanks.